G'day everyone, and welcome back to Talking Everything AFL. Today we are diving into my AFL 2026 Round 2 tips, plus a quick look back at Round 1, how many I got right, how the leaderboard is shaping up, and my updated brownlow predictor after the opening round, or I should say Round 1. If you enjoy AFL content, tips, previews, and match breakdowns, make sure you hit that subscribe button, give the video a like, and if you want to support the channel even further, you can buy me a coffee. Link in the description. Alright, let's get straight into it. And now for the brownlow predictor after Round 1. In equal first place with 2 players on 6 votes, I've got Nick Dacos. Brilliant as always, huge influence. And Christian Petrarca, what a recruit for the Suns. On the weekend, he had 4 goals, 23 touches, absolute dominance. And in the third spot, on 5 votes from Sydney, is Justin McInerney. Huge work rate, huge impact, one of his best games. That's the top 3. Let's see how they track over the next month or so. So Round 1 of the 2026 AFL season is in the books, and I finished with 6 out of 9 correct tips. The 3 teams that let me down were Collingwood, the Quincas, and the Demons. Those were the incorrect tips, but hey, Round 1 is always unpredictable, with some teams playing in opening round and other teams not playing in opening round. Now let's take a look at the TalkingEffic AFL leaderboard. In top spot with 9 correct tips, we have 3 players tied in Langus Loser, Nettie Odo, and myself, TalkingEffic AFL. And then in fourth spot, just behind on 8 votes, is I Am Hacks. Great start to the season. Let's see who stays on top during the season. Game 1 of the round on a Thursday night, Hawthorn Hawks versus Sydney Swans. Hawthorn coming off a massive 62-point domination of Essendon, and Sydney fresh from a big 44-point win over the Brisbane Lions. Key matchup in this game, Nico versus Warner. Ball winner versus outside speed. Whoever gets off the chain first could shift momentum. Lewis versus Rampig. Hawks need Lewis to crash packs and half contest. My take, Hawthorn look confident, structurally sound, and playing with speed. Sydney are more polished, but the Hawks at home get a boost. My tip is Hawthorn by 9 points in a close one. The second game of the week is between the Adelaide Crows and the Western Bulldogs on a Friday night at Adelaide Oval. Big in for the Crows, Isaac Rankin should be in. Last week, the Crows beat Collingwood by 14 points, and the Doggies absolutely destroyed the Giants by 81 points. Key matchup for this game, Fearful versus Bulldogs defender or defenders. Massive aerial battle. Who can stop Fearful will have a great chance to assist in the Western Bulldogs winning. And the midfield, Bontempelli versus Jordan Dawson. 2 elite midfielders, general for their sides respectively, who can get off the chain from their respective sides. This feels like a genuine thriller, and the game is played at Adelaide. I'm going to tip the Crows in a close one by 5 points due to home ground advantage that will get the Crows over the line. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Doggies win. The third game, played Saturday lunchtime, is between Richmond and Gold Coast Suns. Richmond fell just short against Carlton by 4 points, while the Suns smashed West Coast Eagles by 59 points, and the game was basically over at halftime for the Suns win over the Eagles. The key matchup, Ben King, who's dominating the common medal right now, versus Noah Bolter. Huge physical battle. The Tigers gotta stop King. And in midfield, gun recruit Petrarca versus Taranto. Explosive midfield fight. And another key matchup is the Suns' pressure versus Richmond's rebound. Gold Coast Suns, they look so scary. Scary good, fast, damaging, and confident. My tip is the Suns by 45 points. This could get ugly late. The fourth game of the week, played at Saturday afternoon, is between GWS Giants and St Kilda Saints. GWS Giants were smashed by 81 points against the Doggies last week, and the Saints had an upset loss to the Demons by 13 points. Key matchups are Hogan versus Wilkie. The Giants need Hogan firing to win the game. Also, the Saints' forward efficiency versus the Giants' contested work. I'm expecting a big response from the Giants at home. Therefore, I'm going to tip the Giants to beat the Saints by 14 points. The fifth game of the week is between Fremantle and the Melbourne Demons. Last week, Dockers lost to Geelong by 10 points and they were up by 3 odd points in the second quarter. And the Demons had a good upset win against St Kilda by 13 points with some good impressive ball movement under their new coach Stephen King. Key matchup in ruck, Jackson versus Gawn. Ruck battle of the week, 2 elite ruckmans in the middle, Sarong versus Pickett. This will be explosive. And thirdly, the forward, Van Rooyen of the Demons versus Alex Pearce. Fascinating tactical matchup. Given that the game is in Perth, Freo usually live. Therefore, I'm going to tip the Dockers to beat the Demons by 22 points. The first game played on a Sunday afternoon is between Port Adelaide Power and Essendon Bombers. Port Adelaide got smashed by North Melbourne Kangaroos last week by 46 points, and the Bombers were also smashed by Hawthorn last week by 62 points. Both teams got absolutely belted last weekend. The key matchup, Rosie versus Zach Merritt. Who drives their side forward better, Rosie or Merritt? Rosie is a gun elite player with speed, Merritt's a good accumulator. And secondly, Essendon's pressure versus Port skills. Which out of the two will be better on the day? This is a coin toss. Both teams were very disappointing last week. My tip, given that the game is in Adelaide, I'm going to tip the Power just by 2 points. And the last game of the week is between West Coast Eagles and North Melbourne Kangaroo, played on the Sunday twilight. Last week, the Eagles were belted by the Suns by 59 points, and North Melbourne were very impressive, where they smashed Port Adelaide Power by 46 points. Key matchup is Larkey of the Kangaroos against the young West Coast Eagles defenders. This will be a big test. Whoever is playing in defense for the West Coast Eagles, they need to help out, as Larkey is a gun goal kicker. Midfield depth versus youth. North Melbourne, their youngsters are starting to mature now. Your Shizu LDU versus the youngsters of West Coast, Harley Reid, and Tim Kelly did not play last week. So that'll be an interesting matchup out of the pair of two sides of midfields. However, last week, North Melbourne looked sharp and more balanced early, and West Coast were the opposite. Given that game is played in West Australia, I'm still going to tip the Kangaroos, and I'm going to have Kangaroos win by 11 points, and North Melbourne Kangaroos will have an awesome start to this season. We've been 2 wins and no losses, and I can't recall within the last 5 years if North Melbourne started the season 2 wins and 0 losses. Okay, that's round 2 tips from TalkingEffic AFL, and there are 4 teams with a bye. These teams were Geelong, Collingwood, Carlton, and the Lions. And that's it. My AFL 2026 round 2 tips, my round 1 results, and the updated brownlow predictor leaderboard. Let me know your tips in the comments. I'll reply to everyone. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you subscribe, smash the like button, and if you want to support the channel directly, you can buy me a coffee using the link in the description. Thanks for watching TalkingEffic AFL. Enjoy round 2, and I will see you in the next one next week.